Myshire Farm. Today we're going to run through our new lockdown. We haven't tried this yet, and this is the first time it's been completely together. So at the end of that we will turn the heat source on, be checking the humidity, but I thought that we could start this video with how we made it and why we made it this way, and at the end of the video is more of when we were building it, or a lot of what we were doing when we were building it. So this is a cooler that we got for free at a local bar. They said come get it. It's no longer working, and so we had to tear all the compressor and stuff out. That's something you want to have somebody else take all the refrigerant out if you want to do that right, because it won't take it at the scrapyard if you don't. These racks came out of another cooler which is over there, and it wasn't applicable for what I was going to do there, but it certainly was here. So as you can see, this is pretty much an empty box, and it is empty by design, because hatching out your birds on a large scale is a nasty business. When you're doing it in your incubator, it's a nasty business too. So it's important that we can clean this out in between hatches or thereabouts, and so that's why there's nothing in here. Everything comes out so that we can clean and sterilize this lockdown periodically. So there's no electronics in here at all, and that's kind of the way we wanted it. So even this stuff here, we would throw it up on top when we were spraying it down and washing it out. And so basically in a lockdown, all you are concerned about is the heat and the humidity. This is I don't know how you pronounce it, Bayite, Amazon. We have these on several of our incubators, several of our lockdowns. This is now our go-to. We like to keep them all the same, have an extra one on hand. If one goes down, we can replace it quickly. We've tried the little ones, you know, that are so sexy that you can mount in, and the control panel. We haven't had much luck with those performing for any length of time. This guy here is a Will High, also Amazon. Right now we don't have it controlling anything. We're just using it for what the humidity is, and if we find we need to control it, that's how we will do it. So let's kind of run through some of the component parts here. So here is the shelf holder uppers that came out of that other incubator. I can put this first one in here. It locks in the back and then pushes forward and then comes down like that. So that's what will hold the trays up. The next thing we have is the heating element, and we have done this in the past. Zach, let's get over here. We've done this in the past, and again, as we built several of these and bought special heating elements and controllers and yaka. I finally just tried this one time. One of these is in our lockdown presently, and not only does it have, you know, an off and on switch, it has a control. So in the summertime, you may not have it as warm as what you may have in the wintertime due to the ambient temperature. So that is our secret heating element. This is the fan that's going to be blowing down. Again, we have quick disconnects if the fan should stop working, where we can just change it out pretty quickly, but I'll show you how that goes in here in a second. This is our fresh air fan. That goes on the front lid, and I'll show you where that goes. This is an overflow fan, and this is just in case the humidity device starts to overflow. And this is our top secret humidity device. So we have on here a float that controls the water. This will be coming from, right now, a bucket. Later on, it'll be connected to our low pressure water line in the new barn. And this is what I would call the heat box. And on the heat box we have our two fans blowing up. For some reason, they're both blowing up, but one's got the label up, one got the label down. And again, the idea is that we can take these out for the cleanup process and not get any water on our fans, and an easy access to change out the fans when they go bad. And they will. So the water filter that we're using is this guy here. It's a replacement filter for a home humidifier, evaporative humidifier. And this is a wick. So once it gets wet, and this was wet when we were making this guy up, days ago, and it's still moist. So, and it has, you know, an open web here so the air can blow through. And of course, this is just a Tupperware thing, a couple pieces of aluminum, and the proper fittings. So, let's just kind of go through this on how this thing all goes together. Now we're going to put this heat box in. As you can see, this is just bent up and welded together. Not very graceful or pretty, but it'll serve the purpose. And you know, that's where we're definitely cheating, having all these bender uppers. That's going to go in here like so. Tube here. I'm going to wait to plug those fans in. I'm going to set this heater in place.
Our super duper top secret heating element.
Super hot top secret heater. And I'm going to put this on medium so that we have places to go up or down depending on how fast this thing gets hot. So this guy here is going to get plugged into this waterproof receptacle, and it's just waterproof for safety's sake, I guess. This goes straight up. It's the yellow and then black wire that goes to the plug-in on the heat controller. So that's the extent of our controlled things. So it plugs into the heat sensor, comes down, activates this receptacle. I've just now plugged this heater into the receptacle. So when that says we need heat, that receptacle turns hot, the heater turns on, and things warm up. So normally, or in the past, I guess, we've had the heat source in the lockdown. So obviously there's a hot spot where the heater is, which was kind of in the back, 3/4 down from the top. My idea here is that maybe we won't have such a hot spot now because this heat box is down here, and then these fans are blowing the heat up. The heat's going to go up anyhow, but the fans will blow it up. So that's that. I'm going to pull this guy out, which is our fresh air fan. And again, I surmise that, and you know, the introduction of the fresh air would be better served in the heat box so as not to introduce the fresh air somewhere here where we'd have a cold spot. So that's the idea of that. So this is, again, is a lid that I bent up, and I don't know which is up. I thought we marked it, but I don't see that it is. Plug this sucker in.
And that's the quick disconnect that you were talking about.
Yep, just so it makes it easy to do. And this is plugged into the same plug that the fans are. When you plug the machine in, the fans turn on, but you can disengage the fans by unplugging it. Like that. That's our fresh air. So that's all that. I'm going to put these last two, these guys in just for giggles. These are just a lucky find. Lucky. I did modify them. I cut this part out so to let.
Show me again.
I cut this part out so as to let hot air come up around it. All right, so that's those. This guy, where this one goes to the controller, this guy is just a hot extension cord going out to the fans, this being one of those 3 fans that are plugged into that one receptacle. So, we want to cover that up, and this was already a part of the cooler. We have our 2 fans pointing up, our 1 fan blowing fresh air in, our racks are in, this guy's covered up for the last time, and now we're going to, because we just want things to be removable, easy cleaning, these guys here come out. I'm a big PVC user guy, so this is PVC plastic, and it, it serves the purpose, but it won't get waterlogged or hold bacteria or anything like that. So that's why we use that. The next thing we can put in is the fan that blows down. Is that point up in here? If you'll notice, we got swooshes here, so the air will come up and swoosh on here and swoosh here, hoping this doesn't create too much of a turbulence here.
Same thing with down here.
Yep, and then we got the swoosh down here, so the air is, with this guy blowing down and these guys blowing up, this should circle and swoosh around here, get reintroduced, round and around she goes. So this guy here will go up and in here, rest on this guy, like so. I'm going to move that a little closer. It's George Taylor, right? All right, like that. And then this gets plugged into a receptacle back here. It's just hot all the time. When we plug this in, hopefully all these fans will turn on. So that's that. So you can see how it's starting to get a little busy in here now. All right, this here is our overflow tray. And it will go in next, I think. Like so. Like so. Yep. That sticks through the side. Comes out that hole there. And then, hopefully, still got room to get this in here. That's where we want it. Because again, you're going to want to be able to get this thing out of here, change the filter, clean the gunk out. That's that. Now, man, talk about a live video. All right. That's that. So if we should decide we need more humidity, we'll put a little giant pump up in here that this will say, ooh, turn little giant pump on and dribble over top of that is the concept. So now we've got our heat over here. We've got our humidity over here. Now, hardly last but not leastly, are our baskets that I showed quite a bit on how we made these. Once again, these are made out of the PVC plastic. You can buy it. We bought this at Home Depot. It's about $50 a sheet, but when you have a good project for it, it's kind of worth it. Because anything wood would swell up. Yaka yaka. We put these 1/4-inch aluminum in there to support the screen. This is a 1/4-inch screen. That'll stay open. The idea there is that we don't want to impede anything on the heat circulation. So these guys will go in. And George kind of had a great idea here. I was going to put these down here where they belong, you know, make it easy to slide in there and out. But he says, hold on. If we had those up here, and now we do, then we could put a tray underneath those. I'll bring these trays over. Then we could put the trays in here that would keep the junk from falling down here, making it easier to clean. So, fantastic idea, George. Then these are just chunks of scrap aluminum that I put a bend on there and made these suckers like that. Is that starting to look cool or what? This is the first time this thing's been all together, so you are seeing it live and in color. I suppose a guy could plug it in and see if things going to work. Although, I don't know if we got two extension ports here. So, you know, the thing is, if you guys are going to be building stuff, you know, don't worry about it being perfect. Hopefully watching these, you'll be able to learn a little something about our mistakes. But wifery folks, they got a saying is good, better, and best. But don't let, just because you can only do it good, stop I will show you this little trick here. This guy here, I made, as it turned out, the first thing we needed to know was with our hatching trays fit in there, and it did. So what I'd like to do is make a little holder upper here that holds that up high enough that you can get your hand in. So just hold it up like that. So you set that on there and flip it over and take the eggs out. Make that be cool. That'll save a little time. And then you load those eggs up in your brand new cleanable lockdown. An extra one of the no particular. Oops, you got a bucket up there now. Okay, so let me get a doubled up something where we can put this in. Alright, so we hear the fans turning on. I'm going to check this out here. Fan number 3 is on. Fan number 1. Fan number 2. And fresh air fan is on. Sure it's calling for heat. I don't know if that heater has a, yep, lights on the heater. So the heater is activated. And so that's a good thing. And we will fill that top bucket up with water. And for now, we'll just see if we can get the temperature to go up. All right. And we may have to turn that on high.